So while reading Ego is the Enemy, it made me reflect on a question. Do you want to be a business owner, or do you want to do what a business owner does? That's an important question to ask yourself, because I think a lot of people fall into this.
It seems everyone I meet is searching for a purpose. It doesn't matter their age or what generation they were born in. People seem to be, in general, unfulfilled in what they're doing. We live in a culture that needs more, wants better, and is constantly comparing what we have to each other. We strive for better scores, better grades, better careers just to achieve them, and realize it does not bring us the joy we thought it would. We spiral, we blame, we start to tear down this good life that society suggests that we live in. The time we have committed to a simple direction has us trapped with the chains of debt, cultural standards, and honestly our ego. So you must continue to perform that dreaded deed, because what will your family think? How will you pay the bills? And quitting? Well, think about your obligations, Rob. It's just too risky. Marcus Aurelius said, "Every living organism is fulfilled when it follows the path for its own nature. If you're not fulfilled, you may not have found your path yet. Keep searching."
Now, I would love to say that I'm on this right path and I got it all figured out, but I think most of us are kind of in the same boat. I'm, I guess, what they would call a perpetual work in progress, you know? And the other thing too is I know I've made decisions in the past that have, pretty much stagnated me for years. And what's crazy is the wise people in your circle at that time, or in my circle at that time, were actually the ones encouraging it on, whether it be school choice, career choice, or what have you. Because unless you're lucky enough to be born into some enlightened family or group or something like that, you're kind of going to follow the path that pretty much everybody before you has kind of followed. So for the past 5 to 7 years, probably about 5 to 7, I've been trying to figure this out. How do you get out of these cycles that we kind of get placed in? So I started reading books, I started listening to podcasts, and I stumbled upon Stoicism, and all these things together kind of started to change the way I think about doing things, So there are 3 realizations that I have kind of discovered that has kept me afloat. The first is managing your mindset. And this is where strategy kind of comes into play. So for me, creating a strategy keeps my mind clear and uncluttered. So ultra running and putting in those long miles, it gives me that dedicated time, that uninterrupted time to really just think about issues that I'm having at the time. I'll go through my finances in my head. I'll go through parenting things in my head, like bills, goals, business ideas, YouTube ideas. So it's like those long runs, that's that uninterrupted time for me just to clear my mind, get things how I want it to be, and it's uninterrupted. I have a bunch of kids, so there is no quiet time. I have to literally come out into a field to film and stuff because it is way too loud in the house. Also, to help my mindset, I've created a weekly planner, and basically it's like 8 to 10 pages or whatever. It kind of varies depending on what I'm doing, in what period. But it has all my stuff on it, my goals, and I write them out every Monday. And it also has, my finances, my fitness, what I want to do. Basically, this plan has everything that I am wanting and currently doing. It has my goals, it has action items that I write down to meet those goals. So it's not so much you want to create a podcast guest list. Contact these guests, get the ball moving, Same thing with the roastery and stuff like that. You have these goals written down, but then also putting down the action items on paper. That way weekly you're looking at it, daily you're looking at it, and you're going through there and you're just constantly saying, okay, I got to get this done. I got to get this done. This is where my finances at. I want them to be here. So therefore you're constantly looking at everything and just seeing where everything's at. I'll link this down below too. If you want to check it out, go check it out. Just a free download. It'll be in the description if you want to look at it. It's free. I'm going to obviously take my personal information off and numbers and stuff like that, but feel free to use it. It's definitely something I use, and feel free to edit, do whatever you want with it, change it to how you see fit. The second thing that has helped me is realizing that suffering, fear, doubt, and just being scared are all kind of normal. Society nowadays is kind of set up to minimize all those things. Your parents want to shield you from it. Society shields you from it. They shield you from the fear and the doubt and all this insecurity and stuff that's out there. And we've made everything so simple and easy. I mean, as far as physical labor nowadays, as far as food choices and stuff like that, everything is just so abundant and available. And I've kind of been pondering this a lot, and I've realized that if you're not experiencing the fear, the doubt, the suffering, then you're not going to grow. Growth and improvement come on the back end of anything. The last few miles of a marathon is where you're going to grow and learn the most. I heard Nick Bear say you don't sign up for a 100-mile run for the first 50. You sign up for a 100-mile run for the back end, the last 20. That's where you're going to learn who you are. That's where you're going to learn what abilities you need to improve upon to get to the next step. So that's the issue. Many people quit halfway through. They quit halfway through the marathon. They quit halfway through the ultra run. They quit halfway through the set. And they miss out on the growth. And I fell victim to that too. I have literally quit just because of the fear of something, not because it was more than I was capable of actually doing. And the same thing goes for if you're starting a business, if you're starting a roastery or a cafe or anything like that, you know, a bakery shop. Like, you can't let the fear of what's coming in the future make you quit operating today and pursuing what you're wanting to do. Lastly, the third thing is that the destination matters, but for me, the process matters so much more. If I get to the end of something by cheating, then it doesn't matter. You know, so if you cross a 100-mile ultra and they give you the 100-mile ultra medal, but you didn't actually run the race, then it's just a medal. It doesn't mean anything to you. That end result is null and void. How many times do you wish the day was over, ready for the week to end or something like that? Why? This is your race. You're participating in the race. And you want to get to whatever said goal you want to get to. Enjoy that journey. Enjoy the process that it's taken to get you there. For the coffee shop and the roaster that I'm wanting to open, if the bank funds me, I will say that. Still working through some things. I don't care about day one opening. I want to enjoy the whole process of learning how to develop a menu, creating the employee handbook, like all the weird things that you don't think about you kind of need to do. I want to learn all that. I want to enjoy that entire process. Dealing with the banks, that's what I'm dealing with now. Creating the business plan, it's like 48 pages long at this point. I want to literally learn the whole process. Like how to work with a consultant, how to work with a bank, negotiate rates and loans and stuff like that. This whole process is what I'm actually enjoying way more than I even care about the day opening. Because I look back on some things in life, you know, and like, you know, when you're in the military, all you want to do is get out of the military. And it's like, man, that was some good times, you know? Why didn't I sit there and like, was in some cool places? Enjoy it, you know? Just enjoy those times. Sometimes, you know, like the kids are just driving you crazy and all you want to do is just send everybody to bed. But it's like, they're not going to be this little forever. And it's like, you have to enjoy. And it's hard sometimes, believe me, I get it, like life's stressful. For me personally, I really just want to focus on enjoying every little aspect of what I'm trying to do. That personally, for me, has made me a lot happier once I kind of started. And the thing is, it's like, it's not an overnight shift. These are like thoughts that I have while I'm running, and over time, it's starting to make me a happier person. So while reading Ego is the Enemy, it made me reflect on a question. Do you want to be a business owner, or do you want to do what a business owner does? That's an important question to ask yourself, because I think a lot of people fall into this. It's like, you want to start a coffee roaster and you want to start a cafe because you want to have your own business and this, that, and the other. But when you step back and you look at all the small tasks, the dealing with customers, the dealing with inventory, the purchasing of all these random things like forks and knives and paper towels and napkins, do you want to do that on a daily basis? You have to look at all the tasks that business owner has to do, and then think to yourself, like, do I want to do all that, or do I just want to be that? You know, do you want to be an ultra runner, or do you want to go out there and actually run every morning miles and miles and miles, and then double that on the weekends just so you can actually become an ultra runner? Do you want to be a YouTuber, or do you want to do YouTube? Do you want to be a coffee roaster, or do you want to do coffee roasting? Yeah, that's kind of one of the things. It starts to dig deep at you, and you got to figure out what you want to do in life. Those are the three things that I've kind of been thinking through for the past, you know, I don't know, probably a year or so. And they've really kind of started to change, you know, the way I think about things. And yeah, that's it. Three things that I'm thinking about. I don't know. Hopefully you'll think about them too.